Okay, in this one, we're going to go over lifestyle design in general, right? Because this is really all up to you. And it's dependent on your lifestyle, right? And your desired lifestyle. So, what I recommend, since I prefer to split things up into bursts of intensity, I want you to find this balance for yourself. I cannot help you with this. Here's in general like a soft outline of what I do, and I would recommend you start with this and change things around from there, because you can just like drag these, right? And again, I'm not a Notion master. I just do this because one, it's quick, it's simple, it makes sense, and it keeps me on point of what I'm supposed to be doing during my focus work blocks every single morning. So with productivity blocks, this is when you actually write, right? I actually need to add an outline. So I start with an outline on Saturday. You can choose to do this whenever you would like, and you have to get into your own flow and test what works for you and when you have the time to actually do so, right? So the first thing I do is outline the newsletter after, and it could go over to Sunday as well, but I outline my newsletter, I publish the newsletter, and you'll understand how I do this all. You'll have to go through this probably twice total, the entire course, so you understand and then implement. But the outline is 30 minutes. And then after that, I go on walks in my creativity blocks, but then I write for 30 minutes every single morning. 30 minutes is just blocked out for writing my newsletter. If tweet ideas come to mind, sure, I'll write them down. If other ideas come to mind, yeah, I'll write them down. But those are my 30-minute blocks for just writing a high-quality newsletter. So I write the newsletter from the outline 4 days in a row, or 3 days in a row, and then I usually edit it 1 to 2 days, and it doesn't take that long, right? It doesn't take that long at all. So you can follow this structure in general and just change things around. I don't know. I don't want to drag it on any more than that. It should make sense where write your newsletter for 30 minutes. You write last week's thread for 30 minutes. That's how I structure things. I have it all cascading, or how would you put that? Like I write a newsletter I write a newsletter 1 week. I publish the newsletter, send it out, put it on my blog, and then I use that to write the thread the next week during these focus blocks. So this thread writing is from the last newsletter, and I'm writing a new newsletter here. And then through that, I publish the thread. On some days I write tweets, but really it's like, this is why it's called the 2-hour writer, because you write for an hour, and then you have your productivity block for an hour, and then you have productivity blocks for also an hour. So curiosity and research, that's about like reading books, watching YouTube videos, like intentional consumption, intentional entertainment and learning, reading through courses, going on walks and listening to audiobooks, taking down ideas in the queue. Like I will literally, once we learn what the queue actually does, what I do is I open it on my phone. I'm on a walk. I put in an audiobook about things that I want to learn about. I wait, I listen, and then once I have an idea in mind, after listening for a certain amount of time, I'll either do a voice note where I like speak what it is, like a summary of what I just read, or I'll write down like quotes, or I'll write down a specific idea that it gave me, or certain things like that. And then in curiosity and research, I usually read the same book from my Kindle and highlight so it's exported to Notion, so I have all of those high signal quotes. And that really helps me understand what I'm actually reading, right? I listen and I read and I highlight, and that's what I do. And I take notes inside the queue in its own category. So then idea development, this section is how I block off time to do, where is it? Well, it's going to be in here. So that's what I mean by when we fill this part out, right? This is idea development in my eyes. So long story short, play around with these, right? You know what they all do. You know that you need to make time for both of these things if you want all of your writing and all of your creative work to do well. So try these out. You can change these around. You can even play with them and add to them. One thing you can do as well is if you haven't already downloaded the Power Planner, you can go ahead and do that. And then what you can do is when you get access, my stupid video thing is in the way. But once you have the Power Planner, right, if you download this, there's a link above this video where you could then copy this like entire thing. Well, you'd have to like duplicate the entire page, but I think you can push Command C and then, or like copy it. So Command C, and you go back to the Writers Hub, and then you can paste it in here. That didn't really work. But you get the gist, right? And you can keep it separate too. You don't have to have it in here, but that's just my way of keeping things productive. So if I have this in here, and then it's the same deal where you can create quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, and then in the daily, you can do morning gratitude or, excuse me, what I would recommend doing the most is just writing out your priority tasks in alignment with your goals. So if your goal is to write a newsletter each week, then you need to set your priority tasks, and you can do this daily just to bring more intention to your days, if that makes sense. So there's a link to this if you want to download it. Very simple, and then you can just bounce between the two, between the Power Planner and the Writers Hub, or if you find a way to duplicate this entire thing and copy it into there, like I'm pretty sure you could just drag this into the Writers Hub once you have it duplicated. But that's about it for lifestyle design, because it's really up to how you structure things and test over time. Give yourself like months of testing this, right? Don't expect too quick results. You know, the cliche that nobody listens to because we all want quick results, but try to remind yourself of it, zoom out, think big picture, creativity.